How do you address a judge? Are you Your Honor? Are you Judge? What does your family say to you? How do we talk to you? Do I say
Ah,
Elaine?
you can call me Elaine. You can come. We know we've been through a lot together. So
I know, I know. But honestly, really, how do people address a judge? What is the protocol?
most of them say judge. Most of them just say judge. Every now and then you'll hear somebody say your honor, but
Yeah.
most of the time it's just judge.
Judge. Okay, that's
Judge.
so cool. And I would just want to let our listeners and viewers know how we met. You are the judge who is the final piece of the HPD cadet graduation. You are swearing them in so that they follow the rules, the Constitution, everything that they need to follow so they are legitimate HPD officers at all these cadet graduations. You
Yes.
have that honor at
That
the
is
end.
that is one of the best honors I think a person can have. We actually, another judge and myself, Judge Oswald and I go to the academy and train them on like courtroom demeanor. And so I always tell them, everybody gets a shout out but me. But I am the last piece to this puzzle. But it is such an honor because they're putting their life on the line for us. And for me to be able to say that I swore them in and they took their oath with me, it's such a blessing. So I'm grateful for that.
I've read a little bit about your background and how you got to be where you are, and I want to get into that. But first, I did not realize that you went and you are one of the teachers of the cadets teaching them courtroom demeanor. What would that
Mhm.
look like? What are they learning from you?
What they're learning is usually the first time, as in with citizens, the first time that you get to actually come into a courthouse, it's usually our courthouse because the lights and sirens are behind you. Someone's giving you a red light or a speeding ticket. So your first encounter with the courthouse is usually municipal courts.
Mhm.
Same with the officers. They get out on the streets, they're sworn in, they're riding with someone, and most of the time they're training, they're field training. So their first encounter with testifying in a courtroom, what to do when they come to court, how they're supposed to dress, what kind of general orders they're supposed to follow. Usually it happens with us in municipal court. So that's what we're doing, is giving them the kind of the do's and the don'ts from the street. If you a lot of times, now when I first started this, there we didn't have the video cameras and everybody was recording everything you said, and we
Right.
didn't have the body cameras and
Yes.
everybody was. So now you want to tell the cadets, be very mindful of your surroundings and your body cams and your cell phones, because most people are going to record you, you're recording them. So you don't want to, just come up like gangbusters, or you don't want to come up like Barney Fife. You want to come up professionally. You want to come up, a certain way. And I think that is the expectation that Chief Finner and the mayor have of them. And so what we're doing is trying to tell them what to expect when they come to court. A lot of times, I think because we're such a close knit group that you forget that if you went to the Astros game with the prosecutor last night and you walk in the courtroom and you're the police officer, all eyes are on you. So if you're sitting there with that ticket, you're like, so they really, really know each other. And so, it's the collusion factor. You don't want
Yes.
that. So we try to teach all of that.
That is so cool. I never even thought about that, but there are so many different layers in these
Mm,
there's 6 months these cadets go through all kinds. You think it's all physical training. No, there's a lot of other training too
of
that they have
course.
to
Yeah.
do so they are prepared for our city streets. Now, I want to take a walk back to when you were a child. Elaine, were you knowing I'm going to be a judge when I grow up?
Uh, Actually, I wanted to be a doctor. And
Really?
yeah, I always wanted to be a doctor. And until I got to high school and the biology and the cutting up things and the blood, it was like, maybe not. And so, but I'm an Air Force brat.
Right.
So my father was in the Air Force, and I'm an only child. So I was the ultimate daddy's girl. And I just lost my dad in July. So it's like,
I'm so
I lost my
sorry.
best fan,
Yep.
my biggest supporter. But he and the guys would always get together and watch football. And so they were always watching Notre Dame football. So I kept saying, hey, I'm going to go there. that's a pretty place, you know, and I pass by and they'd look at me going, you can't go there, dear. It's all boys. Sorry, you can't go there. And I go, no, but I'm going to go there because they're going to teach me how to be a doctor. And they were like, no. And so the more I talked, one of my father's friends says, you know, you really ought to think about the law because you argue your way through everything.
Wow.
But I kept that going. No, 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 no. I'm gonna do that doctor thing. And so I get to high school, and like I said, 10th grade just kind of shot me out the water, like, okay, never mind. So like 11th grade, I decided I'm going to be the class president. By God, this law stuff might be all right. So I'm doing it. So I run for class president, I make class president. So then I'm like, what school do you go to? So sophomore year and junior year, I was just really disappointed that, okay, so I can't go to Notre Dame. All right. And right at the end of my junior year, they went co-ed. And I went,
No,
yes,
that's
yes.
amazing.
I was in the first group of women to go the whole 4 years. You talk about just I did it. My father's like, I just don't believe you will yourself in to Notre
You
Dame.
did.
Did it and got a Notre Dame scholarship, one of the Notre Dame scholars, actually one of the first Black women to graduate from Notre Dame. For we went the whole 4 years, and they let 6 Black women in. 6 of us graduated, and
Unbelievable.
and we were just like, okay, we can do this. We can do this. But we took over the poor campus. They let 6 Catholic women in, Black women, and 6 Baptists. I was one of the Black Baptists who decided we were going to take over the mass. And it was just I don't think Notre Dame was ever the same, Dana. That those first 4 years were just like, oh my God, she's in my class. And my father said to me at graduation, he goes, it says a lot either about you or about something when the president of the university, because Father Hesburgh walked right up to my father and said, she looks just like you. You just must be, and the J stands for Joyce. You must be Joyce's father. My dad is like, that's not a good sign. That is really not a good sign. But we had a good time. We had a good time.
That is an amazing story. That's just
So,
so cool. Wow. Because I'm thinking, wait, but you did go to Notre Dame. How did that happen? So
mhm,
that
mhm.
is
Yeah,
amazing.
we were the first group. We were like their inaugural group. I thought for a minute there they probably were going to shut it down and say, we tried it. No way, no more.
But
You know,
you were the guinea pigs and you
yeah,
worked out great.
they let us take over mass. They let us have a Black gospel chorus. I'm a singer, so they let us. We started the Black gospel chorus. We decided we wanted to have a dance group. They just didn't know what to do with the women there, so they were like, oh yeah, okay, whatever.
That is amazing. And the
So,
confidence that it must have given you to
yeah.
say, you willed this into being. Now, what else can I do?
Yeah, it was,
So,
and it was fun. And after that, I decided, okay, I was going to stay there, but Notre Dame it got so cold and it was just, I was so far away from home.
yeah,
All of my family was in Texas. And so it was like, and I'm was the ultimate baby and biggest, just, I was like, oh God, I can't stay here another 4 years. So I decided to come back home and go to law school. So I got accepted into Texas. And so I came back home. So
and I read somewhere where you were talking about your grandma and how she looked at you and said, you are leaving home. And this was like the first time you had been away from home to go to college. And she seemed to have such great words of wisdom for you that really
she
seemed to
always
stay with you.
always she always said so many different things to us growing up. My grandmother had like when she passed, she had 39 grandchildren, and I think 34 of us are women. And, and so she would always say things to us like, you can pick where you're going to go to school, what kind of car you're going to drive, where you're going to live. The one thing you can't pick are your parents. She goes, and so I want you to be the best parent you can be, no matter when you have a kid. You always, and that always stuck with me because you think about it. I only have one child, but when I think about it, I wanted to be the person that set that example. And my grandmother would always tell us things like, it really doesn't matter what you do in life. It's how you treat people. And you always want to treat people with respect. And you always want to treat people with that. humility that comes from within your soul, so that when people see you and talk to you and know you, they get to know that you really, really care about life, you care about them. And even if it's a stranger, and that, she had so many different things that she would sit us down and talk to us about, that I kept saying I need to start to write a book about,
Yes.
sit down and write the sayings that she, and my dad too. He always said something I never, just recently told my staff. He said, don't be so good, you're not good for nothing. And I kept saying, is he telling me not to be nice, or what is he telling me? And so one day I asked him, I said, Dad, what does that mean? He says, I want you to be good enough for you, good enough to where when you wake up every morning, you say, I am somebody, I can do anything, and I will do anything. He said, I want you to be that person. And he kept saying, and I'm really proud of you because you are that person. You just don't realize that you have gotten everything that we've taught you and just kind of moved along. And yeah, you have bumps in the road. I call them hurdles. And then you just kind of go, all right, and you reset and you go back to it. And I think that is one of the, I told my daughter, she's an attorney, and I think the proudest moments, I got to hood her when she graduated, and from law school, and I got to swear her in. And as a mother, it just really doesn't get any better than that.
Right.
So it is good. And I think that's one of the things that I try to live by, and especially being the director and presiding judge, because it's kind of like all eyes on you. And so I want to be able to lead by example. I don't want to tell somebody what to do. I want to be able to do it with them. So for
Right.
me at the courthouse, I tried to learn everything. I've been here now. This is my
Oh,
30,
come on.
this is my 35th year.
Wow.
And
That's
I
amazing, Elaine.
and I just, so one, and being the first African American, the mayor, selected me for this position. I'm the first African American. And so I want to be that light that people say, oh yeah, I remember her. She did good things. And the one thing I want to be remembered by I guess, to say that I cared about everybody that walked in, because I've tried to do a lot of different things here in the courthouse, just for the mayor's complete communities, but also to show the citizens of Houston that you have an avenue that you can come to. I started the Veterans Court. Teen Court is my baby. I took over Teen Court. I have 15 students. Now I have over 140.
Wow.
I started Safe Harbor when COVID hit, because people were losing their jobs. People were losing housing. People were losing a lot of things, and we were shutting down things. Restaurants, there were their livelihood. So if you worked as a restaurant worker and your restaurant got closed right at the beginning of Harvey, and they shut you down, what did you do about that fine that you had, or that ticket that you were supposed to come pay?
Right.
Because you're still going to get on the freeway and you're still going to drive, and HPD may be behind you. And it was just the sheer fact that people were afraid of COVID, afraid of dying, afraid of a lot of things, that I tried to make Safe Harbor the place that people understood, no matter what the circumstances were, we were here to help you. So if you came in, you talk to the judge. Safe Harbor, I have 3 dedicated judges who, you see the same judge. So you put some skin in the game for the same judge, and you get to see that same judge and come back and tell that judge, I did exactly what you told me to do. I went out, I either did some community service, I did this, I brought in this paperwork. And so the fear of arrest, that faction of COVID was a relief for them. And just to see their faces. Same with the Veterans Court. When you, and I guess from being an Air Force person, when you are raised that way, it's such a unique community. And my dad would tell me all the time, like at storms and Harvey and things like that, when we had Harvey, he goes, I wonder how many of those veterans ever, you know, took a copy of their DD-214s, your exit papers, because you need those for whatever you do, to the VA, to this, to benefits, you need it.
Ah,
And so I was like, I don't know, Dad. He goes, yeah. He goes, because I'd like to get the word out to him like that. But then I started thinking about it. If you think about veterans, um, if you take a you take a youngster that's 18, they go into the service, they really don't know what they're going to do. So the service puts you in bomb building or bomb detonation, or they put you in an area to work in, that
right,
once you get out, that job field is not out here.
right, right.
and
Yeah.
so and so you have to they have to find their way.
I mean,
They have
my son is a Green Beret. He was bomb detonation, and he's struggling now
I,
out here.
see, I didn't. And you think about it, because the things that they perfected and they were good at,
Yeah.
it's hard to find here. So you
Right.
get them out, you have some depression, because most of them, and I have a degree in psychology, and I did a paper on this, because most of them are used to structure. I get up in the morning, the sergeant tells me this, I go to this, I do taps, I march back in, I go to mess hall, I eat, I sleep, I'm good. I write
Right.
letters,
Right.
I'm good. So when you get out, you don't have that. And there's not the drill sergeant. You may have a girlfriend, you may have a wife, you may have some
A
kids going,
child. Yeah.
Daddy, what do we do now? How, I need a basketball, I need volleyball, equipment. And so for them, it is a whole new adjustment that our society doesn't really realize. And Houston has one of the largest veteran populations in the country.
Mm.
So for me, I wanted them to have a place to come. The VA is here. They talk to them about benefits. Um, we have different organizations that come, United Veterans, the Beacon Law Firm, and they're all here. We're all right here together. So if you have something that, when you got out and your benefits didn't kick in and you got that ticket, to keep them from being embarrassed, or because it's an embarrassment for a soldier, if you think about it, who's been very structured, to be arrested.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, and it just is. And I think it's because we're made differently, and so that's what my veterans court does. They have people here, and we are combined arms are here with us. They've partnered with us, and it just, it's one of those, when the very first time we had it, a gentleman came in. He had some warrants. He had been to Vietnam like my dad, and he had warrants. And he was like, I just don't know what else to do. I've tried to pay him, and they just keep mounting. I try to do this, and it just keeps, snowballing. So when he realized that he could get more benefits from the VA from talking to the people at the VA, and then Dana, when we talked to him, told him he was going to go, they did if he did the programs with combined arms, this is what's going to happen. So he did those. So he came back, and on his return date, he showed us he went to all the programs with combined arms. So now we're handing him a piece of paper that says 0.
Oh, that's
And
amazing.
he is just in tears. And he looks
Oh,
at us, he says, this is the very first time I will be able to buy my family Christmas presents. And I still get chills, because it's just like, see, yeah, that's what it's about. To me, that's what it's all about. If you're in a position, I think, to give back, you should always give back, because you're going to get so very much more.
yeah. And not only that, the way that you've got this empathy from your life and the lessons from your dad and grandma, and then you get to this leadership position, which you worked really hard for. And now what you're able to do for a community who's down on their luck, made some poor decisions, you're not the one blasting them and making it worse. You're the one providing them with a solution to get out of it.
And I am trying every way I can with my teen court, my students. We have first time college students just writing back, going, Judge, you don't know what you helped us do with teen court. And I got the confidence from speaking, because they try real cases, real defendants, real cases, and they're trained by lawyers. The prosecutors train them. The defense attorneys train them. My daughter's one of the trainers, and we have real judges hear real cases. It is amazing what uh, I guess the kids, because they judge themselves. The kids are the jury,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
to watch them and the empathy that they have for someone who's less off than they are. And so their thing is, we can bring you into us. You can come in and hang out with us for a while. And it turns them around, Dana. It just kind of warms my heart, because it just keeps growing. And I think if we start from there with our kids and our young adults, all we got to do is just invest in them. And I think we can turn a lot of bad things around.
I listened in the morning to a show called, it's on at 4 in the morning. It's called Revive Our Hearts.
Mhm.
And she was focusing on a very underrated job, being a mom. And she talked about, you are raising God's children. Your job is so important.
Mhm.
The personality you portray during the day, if you're depressed, it comes to your children, unfortunately. But if you're joy filled, that also is passed down to your children.
Mhm.
And the empathy part of it, and the relying on God for the wisdom, so you don't get, and we've got social media today that can, mom's greatest thing is, the joy stealer is comparing ourselves to other moms.
Right,
And so you're focused more on that than getting your child, as you did with your daughter, to the point where she can realize what her purpose is.
right.
And you've got a lot of detractors trying to pull her down.
Yep.
And the
Yep.
and the fact that you're in this leadership position, so maybe these kids haven't had that kind of a parent
Mhm.
to help them. They finally make it to you,
They finally
and
make it to me. And
yeah,
and you look around my office and people come in and think I have stepchildren, but they're like, are all these your kids? And it's like, yeah, kind of, sort of. Yes. And
amazing.
it is for me. I, I, I am so very, very thankful and blessed. And so it's not a situation where I don't ever wake up and know how blessed I am. And it's not a situation where I don't wake up going, okay, so what else can I do today? Because they tease me all the time about being here at 7. I walk the halls. Hey, how you doing? So if somebody in my staff is just kind of, look, what's wrong? Because you get to know them. And I think
Right.
that is the most important thing, is for people to know that you care, and people to know that you're here. And I tell everybody, I have an open door policy. Just come say, let's just talk. Let's talk about what's going on, because we're in, if you think about it, you're with them 8, 9 hours a day. So I don't get to see my other kids, I don't, grandkids. No, you don't get to see any of those people as much as you do the people you work with.
Right. Right.
So, I just, they're like my extended family. And I just, from talking to me, every time you see me, I have something to tell you, something to
I
talk.
know. I
And I
know.
and I was just, I just went through my head. Now, is this Dana's interview or mine? Because I haven't shut up yet.
No,
But
this is pure joy for me, because all I ever hear from you is the honor of you, getting those cadets to swear the cadets into, so they're police officers. But I never really get to talk with you, because we're kind of in there,
no,
and then we're onto
right.
our lives. By the way, the next cadet graduation, December 23rd. I'll see you there. Right
Aha.
before Christmas. I'm
Right
so
before,
excited.
right before.
Yes.
I told him, I had the mayor and the chief laughing one day. I said, somebody's going to show up and not be able to sing one day, and I'm going to get to shine. And they were like, oh, Lord, here we go.
Well, let me tell you what, Elaine, I just had on Kiana, the singer, who is
Oh, really? Oh,
Officer
right.
Kiana
Yeah,
Nelson.
yeah.
And it's so funny, because her story is, someone just called her up out of college and just said, you'd be a great police officer. And she's like, what? She wanted to be a singer. So now she's a singing police
A
officer.
singing police
So
officer.
if she
Yeah.
doesn't, if she doesn't show up, now that I know you sing, I'm going to tell the lieutenants,
It's like,
hey,
man,
hey, our judge can
yeah.
also sing.
They tease me that all the time, because I am always either racing in or squeaking into church, or squeaking in, because I have the pleasure, and I call it the pleasure and honor of my 85-year-old mother stays with me. And so
Aw.
this is the funniest story, is getting her last week to choir rehearsal. I said, hey, you feel like going to choir rehearsal with me? Haven't been since COVID. We're all vaccinated. We're all ready to go. She goes, yeah, okay. So I said, well, I sit her in the sanctuary. So I'm up there and I'm sitting there and I said, now, if you're probably not going to remember where the bathroom is because her long-term memory is great, short-term memory is not.
My
But
mom
I
too.
said, just wave at me or something, I'll come get you. And so she goes, okay. So she's sitting there, Dana, and we're practicing some song, and I'm an alto, so I'm over on one side, and I see her do this. And so I just come down. I said, you ready? You got to go. She goes, no. And right about that time, the musician has taken a break. And she goes, those sopranos haven't hit their note yet. And I am as red as the shirt you have on going, oh my God. And you know how you turn around like, sorry guys. And she goes, because she was, she was an avid singer, a beautiful soprano singer, and
Wow.
sung all in back in, in the 50s and 40s, sung all around Texas. And she was like, they haven't hit a note yet. I was like, oh Jesus. I
God
am
bless your mom. That's what they needed, a little tough love, right?
that's what they were telling me. They go out of, they say out of the mouth of babes, but out of the mouth of 85-year-olds, we haven't got on that note yet. I was like, yeah, it was like,
So
oh,
funny.
I'm like, oh my God. But
The love
she's
and
a jewel.
wisdom that seems to have surrounded you. I always love to ask my Houston Women podcast guests, what advice, because there's a lot of women who listen and it's just not clicking for them.
Mhm.
What advice would you give a younger woman, middle-aged, even, our age, to just go for it? What gets you going every day? You're obviously a fearless woman.
I, I think what gets me going is the fact that no matter how you start out, no matter what your plans are, things happen. You say you want. I started out saying I want to be a doctor, then I decided, nah, that's not for me. Things happen in life to each and every one of us, and my advice to them is my grandmother used to say, and I've seen it said before: when life throws you a curveball, hit it out of the park. Just
Perfect.
knock it out the park.
I love it.
No matter what you decide, no matter what hurdle you overcome, understand that there is a woman somewhere, no matter the color, no matter the shape, no matter the size, that has been there where you're trying to go or has been knocked down before and has some advice on how you can get up. And all you got to do is reach. You'd be surprised if I mean, you could call me. I'm anywhere. I may not be able to know all of the answers, but by God, I can probably give you something that I would want you to take with you to know that all you had to do was reach out. And if you reach out, you'd be surprised at what you can get. And I think that to me is one of the best things that a woman, just the women out there can know, that no matter the shape, size, color, no matter the race, we're in this together. So if and if I can help, I'm here to help.
Amen. That is awesome. That is awesome. And I've got to ask you, what do you do in your downtime? Or is there no downtime? You're working right up until you hit the bed at night.
I'm working till I hit the bed at night. I don't really sleep until I know my mom is asleep, but in between that time, I love to sing and I love to ride my bike. I have
Oh,
I am a bike rider, and so I'm all around the neighborhood. To ride bikes is one of the things that I've done since I was little, and riding to on the bases, riding in between the officers, the cadets marching through for cadence. Growing up, we rode through the.
that's so cool.
Yeah. And it was like, they would go, okay, Sergeant Marshall, there goes your child on a bicycle back through, and the guys finally just gave up trying to duck and dodge, and they would just let us go through it was horrible. We were really not good, but
I
I
love
still
it.
love to ride bikes. And I think I'm on this might be my anniversary month, because I woke up one last year about this time and said, you know what? You're not getting any younger. You need to lose some weight. You need to do something, because all you're doing is going to work. And so I've now lost about 50 pounds riding my bike.
Riding your bike.
Mhm.
Good for you. Good for you. Now, I have to remind you, I'm a DJ
Okay.
and you are a singer.
Okay.
So
So,
right now, I want to give you an
oh
opportunity
God,
to
no.
audition.
Uh-uh.
Give us
No.
just a
Oh,
little bit of
oh
your
no.
voice,
You
just a
already
little.
you already know the mayor's probably going, what is she doing? Oh
No, no. Now,
no.
come on. I one time had a sheriff's deputy sing Christmas music. There's got to be a song that you're totally comfortable singing as our
Uh-uh.
singing police officer. She's just like, this is my passion. I could sing before anybody. It was just a little glimpse, just a little glimpse.
You are really you're really gonna put me on the
Yes,
spot. I can't
because
even
I'm
think
going
of
to tell everybody.
can't even think of what. Yeah, but that people are gonna hear this. They're gonna
That's exactly
my
right.
family's gonna go, "Are you insane?"
Yes,
I
you
mean,
are. This is your shot. Come on. Then when our singing officer doesn't show up, you're in.
I can't even think of
Think of one of your favorite songs. It just kind of it just comes out of you. Even a church song.
oh
Maybe the
God.
song you're practicing that your mom says, no, it's not working.
Oh God. What song could I sing for you? Ooh, now that
We're coming
uh,
up on the holiday season.
coming up on the holidays.
Maybe a Christmas song.
See, I'm not really a Christmas carol
No.
kind of singer. I am a more of a Gladys Knight
Go for it then. Do Gladys.
uh,
Tina Turner, maybe? What's
uh,
love got to do with it?
you're gonna put the words up there too, right? No,
No, you're just going to do it from your
I'm
heart,
just
from
gonna
your
do it a
soul.
cappella, huh? All
Yes.
right. Wow. Um,
Just a little bit, because you're going to be our singing judge.
good Lord.
This is a whole new you, Elaine.
It's a whole new me, huh? All
Uh-huh.
right. All right.
Uh-huh.
Let me see what I can sing. A whole new me for me.
Yep. It's a whole new
Um,
you. A whole new world.
oh God. You must understand, though the touch of your hand makes my pulse react. And I've read it someplace, cause to express, I can opposites attract. It's physical, only logical. But whatever the reason, you do it for me. Oh, what's love got to do? There you go.
That is excellent. You did it.
No, well,
Woo!
you're horrible. You
You
just
are
edited
so
it
good.
out.
Oh man, you even had the moves down. I'm
Yeah,
telling everyone
I need
about
to start
you.
dancing with it. No.
You're so great. Hey, how can people look you up and contact you, get in touch with you if this is maybe a career that they want to do? Where can people find you? Do
People
you
can
give out
find
social
me.
media or
I don't. I am not the what is it? The Twitter tweet and all.
yeah,
So you would do better calling me at the city.
okay.
I am phone number 713-247-5464, and I'm here most of the time. So
That is awesome. You are the best. And thank you. Thank you to your parents, to your grandma for giving you the wisdom so you can help people get out of the pit that they find themselves in and
thank
move on with their lives,
thank
because
you.
you do
I
some
have a
special
wonderful
things.
support family, and I tell you what, I couldn't do it without them. So I just appreciate everything that everybody does for me, and
Well,
especially you.
I
You
appreciate
let
you
me
too.
embarrass myself on the radio.
Oh, no, you didn't. You did not. I wouldn't let you do that. If I didn't know you could do it, keep riding that bike. You look amazing and you'll feel great. And
Thank
thank you for all you do. Take good care of yourself so you
you
can
too.
take care of all of us.
I'll see you in 2 months, right?
Yep,
Yeah.
we sure will.
All right.
Take care, love.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye.